Hello and welcome to Miss Lucas's Google Classroom for Digital Art and Design 1. I'm going to be using my 2018 to 2019 digital art classroom so that I can show this as an example for all of you of just how I organize my Google Classroom and some basic resources on how to download things. So when you pull up Google Classroom and click on my class, it's going to take you automatically to the stream. And the stream is great because this is where I post announcements, like here where I posted about our last day of school or just some general things for people to know. But whenever I post an assignment, it also goes in here. And this gets crazy. It is very unorganized, and it's just in a general timeline of the entire school year. And I guarantee you that if this is the only way that you're keeping track of your assignments, you are going to get lost, you are going to miss work, and you're going to probably have some zeros in the grade book to show for it. So what you always want to click on to make sure that you are getting the correct information and to see what you need to do for my class, you want to go here under classwork. Now, I organized my Google Classroom in a couple of different categories for you all. First of all, at the top, there will always be resources here. This is where I'll post general instructional videos like this one on how to use Google Classroom, maybe some things for Illustrator and Photoshop, just general tours, just in case anybody forgets things. This is also where your syllabus will be located and any other general forms that I need to send home to your families. So make sure that this is always going to be at the top. Next, I organize your work by quarter. So you guys can see that here I have all the assignments for the fourth quarter here at the top because that was the most recent quarter for my students last year. I also organize all of their work in numerical order so that students know which order they are supposed to do their work in. And the handy thing is that this little icon here, it's blue on this video, it might be a different color for your Google Classroom. That icon is in color when work is not submitted, and when you do submit your work, it turns gray. So if it's not gray, I don't have your assignment and it needs to be turned in. For some classes, maybe your class color is a dark gray and it will turn a light gray, but light gray means that it is turned in and taken care of. Anything else means that it is missing and I don't have a grade for it for the grade book. And as you can see, sometimes I provide extra credit opportunities or even optional work for students. So it's always wise to go to your classwork so that you can make sure that you can see what your assignments are, any questions that I'm posting to the class, and then of course there's always instructions on here for how to do something. So I always place the instructions on here, and then I'll provide some resources for every different assignment, such as tutorials or examples. And this one in particular I want to show you because it has a template to download. So if I provide you something and ask you to download it for an assignment, you're going to click so that you can go into view. And here you can see all the attachments for this particular assignment by scrolling through using the arrows. So here we have the example that I posted, the tutorial on how to do it, as well as this worksheet that we need to download to start this. Now there's no download button here on Google Classroom just to kick it off, but if I click on this three dot symbol up here that stands for more actions, I can open it in a new window, and then my download icon appears in the top right corner. And this is a pretty universal icon for downloading. Many of you have probably seen it on your phones. So when you click on that, you'll know it is downloaded when it finishes loading here in the bottom right corner, and then all you have to do is click on this to open the file. So you'll be downloading work pretty frequently in my class, so this is an important thing to know how to do. Okay, the last section that I have is the journal submission section. And unlike all the other work, I don't organize this by quarter because it's easier for most students if it's all in one section. All art students keep an art journal where they are expected to do a certain number of pages every 5 weeks. So there are 2 submissions per quarter. The first and second submission are for the first quarter. the 3rd and 4th are for the 2nd, the 5th and 6th are for the 3rd, and the 7th and 8th are for the 4th quarter. And when you click on each of these, you can see my instructions of how many pages are due, the final deadline, and even sometimes what time it is due. I also like to include any assignments that students can count for that, as well as my expectations here. And we will go over this more in class when I can hand out some handouts and go over students' journals with them. Last, you can look at your work and the deadlines in a Google Calendar format, or you can see all of your work pull up in the class drive here. And that's it for my tutorial on Google Classroom. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me or ask me in class.